This is the Wannabe Saints podcast, where we take virtues and try to break them down so they become tangible and applicable to your life.
We aren't here to bring you advice, we're here to bring you virtue. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Rachel.
We're your hosts,
and this is Wannabe Saints.
Welcome back to Wannabe Saints. This is part 2 of the Motherhood episode. We'll be picking up just where we left off, and we hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. How has becoming a mother changed how you viewed your own parents or your upbringing?
It only makes me love you more.
Oh, that's sweet.
No, seriously.
Becca.
No, it's like you're in it and you're like, this is hard. This isn't easy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And just like, I'm completely imperfect. My kids are going to have beef with me, when they're older. It's a humbling process. So it's not an easy job. So
I know, and I'm sorry, Mom, you're here in the hot seat hearing us talk about this part. But I was thinking of me in my early 20s when I was like, I know it all and I'm an adult and I'm like, you could have done this, and this, when you're the worst critic, right?
Right.
And then having kids, fast forward, thinking, man, I screwed up today and again today and again. Wow, this is really hard. And realizing we're not perfect. And every day you're trying your best.
Mm-hmm.
And as your kids grow and you grow in your parenting, you just keep searching and learning and growing and doing your best. And so in my early 20s, sure, it was easy to be like a victim. My mom and dad hurt me in this way, and I'm never going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately coming out of it in humility, being like, you know what? I'm going to screw up my kids just the same. Like we're all wounded, we're all hurt, and we all are imperfect.
Yeah.
And so you're going to hurt your children even when you're trying not to.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable. And so you just hope that then your children also realize you're doing your best. You were given the tools from your mom and dad who were given the tools from their mom and dad.
Right.
And so I'm going to hurt my kids in ways I don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the way it is.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But to know that you're always striving to do your best gave me so much appreciation for you and Dad.
Yeah.
And the sacrifices and the prayers and the fasting that you always did for all of us and staying on top of us kids. It was truly a gift. Adolescence is what it is.
Yeah, right.
You
right.
think you know it all until you realize you don't.
And that's where like my early years is like I tell my sisters, we all have our opinion of how mom and dad raised us, and we're all going to try to do something different, change something, and do something better. And when I say, and we have to know our kids are going to do the same to us.
Yeah.
You're going to pick and choose what they didn't like and what they want to improve on, and their kids will do it to them, and that's just the way life goes.
Mm-hmm.
And with that perception, I read a lot.
Yes.
To comprehend parenting in a way that wouldn't harm you horribly.
Well, because we're both perfectionists.
Yeah, right. So I did lots of reading. Dr. James Dobson, I will sing his praises forever, because I learned so much from him. And of course, prayer and scripture does that too. So my feelings aren't hurt when I hear that I've hurt you. I'm sorry I've hurt anybody.
It's inevitable.
But it's inevitable, right?
Yeah.
Because especially in the adolescent years, you can't be your child's best friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're not going to like you at some point, and you have to accept, okay, I'm not liked right now, but I am the parent.
Not here to be your friend.
And so you have that in it. What I've definitely had to learn to accept is that every one of you is doing something different, and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're all going to take a different part of your parenting.
Right. But we all have the same end goal.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So
you gave us what was most important.
Yep. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's true. You have all 6 of your kids practicing the faith.
Yeah.
That's amazing. The greatest gift.
Jesus. Yep.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Moving on to some hard questions. The category of hardship and suffering. When motherhood breaks you open.
What has been one of the hardest seasons of motherhood for you, and how did you endure it?
I think that my hardest years, even though my teenage years right now with the kids feel really hard and challenging, are the years of overspanking with my school-age children. I have a lot of regret and remorse over losing my temper and spanking out of reaction and not out of a consequence with a couple of my children. So, and God's brought me through it and past it and over it. And I'm not the same mom as I was when they were in school, but yeah, I definitely have those are my hardest years. Yeah. Don't want to go back.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might be in my hardest season. It could be right now, maybe. I'm not breaking down or anything. I've definitely had moments of overwhelming breakdown, but I think on a whole, it's not. And I want to be careful with this because having my seventh kid, it really has nothing to do with I want all these babies. I'm happy to have babies. I'm happy with my big family. I have a lot of joy in that. So it's not really that specifically. It's the circumstances around it. I think we're just in a demanding season where my husband's just working his tail off, trying to increase income. We're trying to figure out, can we do this in California or can we not? And then being in a small home and homeschooling now. I've only been homeschooling for 2 years, but it's just all of these outside circumstances are making daily life more challenging. So, just there's challenges that come with living in a small home. So I'm exercising a lot of patience and gratitude for God's plan. It's taught me a lot of good things, valuable things that I wouldn't trade, but I'm definitely okay, Lord, this is really a chiseling process. And we'll see how long, he desire us to be in this place. But I think we're being stretched in new ways right now. Just trying to navigate daily life. And
My hardest years, when I was not my best self, was probably raising teenagers. It was probably more reactive than, as a volcano. Too many times. So, yeah, I'm not proud of those years, but they are what they are.
We turned out okay.
The grace of God and your forgiveness.
It's fine. It's fine.
But those are the hard years. Definitely had one very rebellious child that stretched the limits.
Everyone will have heard Katie's story by now.
Okay. So
not to rant.
I know. So yes, and
I was going to say you couldn't elaborate because
Katie shared it all.
everything.
Katie shared it all.
So Katie was the one who stretched Dad and I a lot. She's the one where we did tons of prayer and fasting. And more fasting.
It goes to show, though, because if you haven't listened to her story, you need to listen to it because you come up, Mom, a lot in her story about just in little moments, even when you had no idea what was actually going on in her life, it was because of your prayer and fasting, I guarantee that God gave you an inkling to go and do something for her or to be there for her or whatever it was that you did. I mean, buying her flowers on the worst day, I would say, of her life. And you had no idea what happened. And you were just I felt like you needed these. And she knew why. Or to the moment that you woke up in the middle of the night and you were you walk into her room and you bless her hands and in her throat
and her mouth and her forehead.
And she is what are you doing? You're I don't know what I'm doing. I just know I needed to do this.
Listening to the Holy Spirit.
It's those things, Mom, that that praying and that fasting that you did that 100% just allowed you to love her through all of it, but also you're a huge, huge, huge part of Katie's story. A huge part of Katie's story.
I'll have to listen.
Yes, you will.
All of it.
That's really
But anyway, yes, Dad and I both fasted and prayed a lot.
Yeah.
Each child gives you challenges, but through prayer, God would work.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you turn for strength when the days feel too heavy? Faith, community, routine, anything
Music,
else?
I don't know.
All the above.
Yeah.
That's truly it. All of those things helps. And then above all, that morning prayer time.
Starting your
It's gonna be the
day.
song I'm singing. Yeah, just
The
that.
morning prayer time.
Yeah, and then begging him for what I need. Yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes I go through those phases where I'm literally like begging him, just please help me with this thing already.
Yes. Yeah.
And if
Exactly.
necessary, call your mom or your sister and cry. It's fine.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah. There's times where, certain times in life, it's amazing how in life it goes. Like you know, the need to share in with somebody, share your grief or what you're going through, so that you have support. Because in young motherhood, I definitely would call my girlfriends or my sisters.
Because toddlers can't hear you.
I know.
You need an adult.
And then as there's times you turn to God, and definitely morning prayer. And then there were times in life where it was the music that would help bring the joy back in. It's just
Kenny G is my childhood theme music. You come home and then Kenny G's on.
That's yeah, that's what Daniel always says. Well, because and for me, that music was peaceful, because my life of rearing kids was
Chaotic.
yeah. And so the daytime music was that. And then there was the times that it was praise and worship, really upbeat music that I needed, and so when you guys would be at school, I'd listen to that. I got lots of chores done during that time. So, so yeah, the ebb and flow of life of what you're going through, music can definitely help through that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When you guys do your morning prayer, is it normally like you wake up extra early and do it before kids wake up, or you just do it in the midst of chaos and they're just like at your feet and you're just like, I'm just going to sit here and pray anyways?
Becca is making faces at me and
There's a
laughing.
difference between a goal and reality.
There's a difference between a goal and reality. The goal is to get up early.
Yeah.
Reality.
It is. I'm just convinced it's the best way, but it's not easy, especially for night owls by nature, fighting nature. I start out strong during the beginning of the school year, and I notice a difference. Like the fall, I'll start out waking up before the kids, and my days are so much more productive. I have more energy and joy. And then the springtime comes, and your resolutions kind of are not happening so much. And yeah, I definitely think I kind of reaped what I sowed. Spring versus fall. I think the spring ended up being a lot more challenging, getting what needed to be done.
What do you do in the summer?
In the summer, that's a good question. Well, we're here for a month too, so it is just kind of like
She's been a champ. She just does it while the kids are around.
I try. It's really.
I talked too much this morning, so she gave up.
I did have 4 minutes left of my reflection.
You could have told me to shut up for 4 minutes. I didn't know. I was
That's
just
hilarious.
I just constantly was like, so Becca.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. When you wake up at kid o'clock, it is what it
Kid
is.
o'clock. I love that.
So you just accept it, and you just like, sorry, Jesus, I'm just gonna be,
Here, distracted.
shouting you out here and there, and that's the best I got. So I guess
It's better than not.
I mean, that's just trying to acknowledge him throughout the day.
BT and prayer. Better than nothing prayer.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's me half the time.
It's good.
I do think in rearing kids that if you don't get your morning prayer time, to focus on an evening prayer time with your children so that they understand prayer is important, is good. Even if, I guess, for Ron and I, we did do evening family prayer. Sometimes it was get up away from the table, don't even think about doing dishes. When you pray, go to the next room and pray together as a family. And then times when Ron was traveling, I'd still pray. And for us, it was the rosary. And you had toddlers. And so we'd pray with those who could pray. And then, your toddlers aren't hearing it, but playing there. But they're in the room, hearing that this is an important part of life.
Mm-hmm.
That this is what we do. And then as they grow into it, they would want to try to pray 3 Hail Marys or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now, of course, sometimes their toddlers are silly on the floor, and so you're praying the rosary, and the rest of your kids are laughing because of what they're doing on the floor. But it's still teaching that prayer and being connected to God is important.
Yeah.
In those years, I wasn't always great at morning prayer, but we definitely specifically would pray evening prayer together.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd also use it as a teaching time because as teenagers, they'd interrupt the rosary and have questions of life. So then there would be a rosary you'd think you were going to have 20 minutes and get it done, and then it would turn into an hour because there were questions,
I
the
don't
teenagers.
even remember that.
Don't you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, so
I mean, even for myself, I feel like my days feel longer in a good way when I do my morning prayer time. Just recently, I was like, God, I have a lot to do today. Can you just maximize my time? I'm giving you my time, so just give me your time because you're outside of time, so you can make things feel longer when I need them to. And I remember feeling like I was so lazy and unproductive that day, but I was like, I actually did the most today than I have in a long time. Like, I washed my bed sheets, I got all the laundry washed and folded, and my house clean, but I felt like I didn't do anything that day. I felt very relaxed.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, thanks, God.
I kind of want to steal that and ask the Lord for the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he's outside of time every
She
time I
has
do it.
childlike faith in that way
Yeah.
all the time where
Beautiful.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's a good prayer.
Uh-huh.
Anytime I ask him to maximize my day, I'm like, holy cow, I got more done in 4 hours this morning before work than I did on my whole day off last week when I didn't pray. It's like, it is crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like the difference between, this is like morning prayer, the difference between doing things on your own versus doing things with God. It's
Yes,
like,
it
this
is.
is me with self-reliance.
Exactly.
This is me relying on you.
Uh-huh. It is so true.
True.
It's awesome. Can you share a time you saw God's grace most clearly in the midst of real struggle?
What came to mind for me was with my trying times with Owen, when I would want to react to his poor actions, behavior, his mouth, whatever it was, like that would set me off, and I would want to react in a negative way. And in the end, ultimately, at the time, like, he needed a hug. And instead of going to punish, I could hug him and let him feel loved. And that is what he needed to be better and make better choices for the rest of the day. Like, he just needed a hug. But the way he was acting, you didn't want to give him. No, I didn't want to give him a hug. That was the hard part. No, but just like being able to do that, and you just know it's God's grace, because it's not my first reaction when a kid is behaving, poking,
being disrespectful. Let me
antagonizing.
hug you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You just snapped at your mother. I'm gonna hug you now.
Let me give you a big hug. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's when you knew it was the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and not me.
It's awesome. Last question in this section. What would you say to the mom who feels like she's drowning and cannot see a way out?
Yeah. It'd be easier if I actually kind of read what I
Go for it.
I don't know
Yeah.
how fluid it's going to come out, but I would say that motherhood is hard. That each season has its end. So every hard season ends too, and often sooner than we think. But to be sure that we're not guilty of self-reliance, are we really being intentional in our prayer life, being specific in prayer, taking time to reflect on what would actually, like, what would really help in a situation or whatever you're dealing with? If you actually need tangible, more help, babysitters and all that kind of stuff, what changes might you need to make personally in order to improve a situation? So, like, just finding the root of the problem. Often faith can take a back seat when it should be the driver. That's just from my own experience. And you give God your loaves and fishes, you just give him the best you have, and he can multiply it. And then, yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help and to take it when you're offered it. That's something that can happen. I've definitely learned to accept help now. And then, make time for good friends. Surround yourself with good friends and not to give from an empty cup.
Beautiful. That's really good.
I wrote the same things.
Did you?
Yep. Don't give from an
the
empty
same
cup.
things,
Yep.
yeah.
You have to make sure you fill your cup. Yep. And to accept help when offered. Not to be selfish.
Yeah, I think that's something that's a really good point to hit on for moms, that like you're not a failure of a mother if you need help. You're not a failure of a mother if you need a babysitter.
Yeah.
Or you want to go out with your friend and you need like a break.
Yeah.
Like you're not a failure because you feel like you need a break.
Right.
I think that's something that a lot of moms feel, and that's actually kind of what we're going to be getting to is just that. We'll just go to that question right now. The response to mom guilt. What do you do with mom guilt, or just the constant sense of like you're not doing enough?
The chores are always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And rearing children is always going to be there. And it's okay to go and do something for yourself, to bring yourself joy, and to take a break from being mom so that you can be a better person for your kids when you come back to them. I was not good at doing that in the beginning. And then, I don't know about mom guilt necessarily, because what does one mean in mom guilt? Like not doing everything all the time or missing something and not being there. But like, it is okay to step away from your mom role, leave the kids with dad or a babysitter, and do something to fill your cup. Because if you can't find joy yourself and life outside of being mom, you can't. You have nothing to give. You just resent what you're doing and the work you're doing at home.
Yeah, as far as trying to do all the things, like I follow this mom on YouTube, and I
can link it so you can.
I adore her and how she handles her life. And I can get lost sometimes. See, there's my social media where I might compare. Sometimes I feel like, whoa, she's doing so much so well. At least it seems. Like, why is this and this so hard for me? Or I'm not even doing this or that or this or that. So that can creep in. And I think it's just what helps me is just focusing on, I'm a different human than she is. I don't have all the gifts that she has. I don't have the capacity for this or that. I have a different husband than she does. We've received different things in life. So I cannot possibly expect myself to do everything. What do I get joy out of? What brings joy to our family? What can we actually, what's practical and reasonable for me? And focusing on that, I think, really can help me get out of feeling like I'm not doing everything right or not doing enough. It's good.
Choosing simple sometimes is the best, Yeah, just simple and loving your kids.
The basics.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Natalie, I feel like this is a really good one for you in the stage that you're in. How do you navigate the tension between protecting your kids and releasing them into God's hands?
Well, I feel kind of neurotic when it comes to protecting them as far as electronics go. Keeping them from technology or whatever as much as I can. And things that are in my control, because I feel like it's my responsibility to protect their innocence and their purity. Once it's gone, it's gone. And if I'm not doing my due diligence as a mom, that's on me. But sending them in the world, I mean, you're surrendering all of the things that you're trying to protect at home. And that it does feel challenging. They can see anything at a friend's house or on a friend's phone or whatever. And I'm trying to preserve that. But teaching and having conversations about what's okay, what's not okay, and ultimately teaching them that, like, God sees all. He sees everything. And so, right from wrong. I'm going to send you out, and you're going to either make a good choice or you're not. And if you don't make a good choice, well, there's confession and trying again. But I don't know. This is the hardest part of parenting right now.
Becca, I feel like we actually kind of been talking about this like in the last couple of days. Just that you're obviously in a very different phase. Natalie's like Eli's driving and I can't have control over all of this. But you've been kind of, now you're entering a stage of, okay, they can go walk to this place by themselves, or they, even just being home is very different than LA, but like they're walking to the pond and they're going fishing down the road, that kind of thing. That's even like a release and like trusting.
Same as my driving with Eli.
Yeah, true, driving.
And then letting go. And I can remember specifically in California that feeling of having to let go and let God. God's in control. God loves you more than I love you. I've definitely had to surrender that I couldn't have you in my eyesight all the time, and that I had to trust that God was looking out for you too.
Mm-hmm.
You train them up.
Mm-hmm.
They know the rules, the boundaries, and that God is loving God. He's a merciful God, but he does give us commandments, and you try to teach that and pass that on. And then you have to let them have that relationship with God. Yeah, letting go is letting God do the calling and the work after you've done the work.
Have you ever had a moment where fear felt paralyzing, and what pulled you through?
The time that I thought of, the only time that I actually can think of where fear felt paralyzing to me was, in regards to motherhood, was when Rosie was born. She was 15 days old and contracted GBS from me during birth. And her symptoms showed, 15 days later. And she was just feverish and was a tiny infant, wouldn't nurse. And I had a cranky Isaac who was struggling with jealousy. My only child to struggle with jealousy was in this moment. Anyways, I was really stressed out, and she wouldn't nurse. She'd cry anytime I kind of let her be away from my body. So I just was like, wow, this is not right. So I called Chris at work, and he immediately came home and was like, Becca, she's hot. She feels really hot. And we took her temperature, and it was 102.7. So that was pretty terrifying. So we took her to the ER right away, and she was treated and, was able to get better. But at the same time, we were in a NICU that we were told another baby had passed away from GBS. So the feelings that you feel when you think your baby's going to die, it's pretty intense. But what got me through was my husband's faith. With Chris's faith carried me through. I won't forget his words. I would just look at her, hold her, not knowing if she'd be better yet. And just trying to cope through all the emotions I'm feeling. And he would be like, Becca, at the end of the day, she's his first. He loves her more than we do. And he just reminded me of that. And I really focused on those words and just had to trust that even if he took her away, that was true. So, and he's still good. But yeah, thankfully she got better and she's okay.
It's scary. I forgot.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, similar story, but I don't know if it fits. Because we lived in California and kids were being kidnapped a lot. So I lived in great fear of Nell and Katie and Nick being kidnapped because they were going through those windows of their apartment or their home, taking an infant, taking a kid when Ron was traveling. And so
this is also during the same time of the Night Stalker, right?
Yeah, right. So I was living in great fear, especially when I was home alone with the kids. When I took Blessed Mother medals and I put them at every window, and the house would be so hot, but I'd have every window locked shut because you didn't have air conditioning. In Fremont, California, you don't have air conditioning.
You need that night air to cool your house down.
Right, you do. But yeah, I was overcome with fear too many times during that time. And the words given to me by the Holy Spirit was, I love them more than you do. And so that's what I would hang on to every night. God loves them more. God loves them more. To just get through those times, And then then repeating that through those times, that's also when I Okay, God loves them more, so you kids could ride your bike a little bit farther than I could see you. It was like a gradual transformation of, okay.
Gradual surrender.
A gradual surrender. God loves, but those words were just repeated in my head so much. God loves them more than me. God loves them more than me. And in that, it's just, there's so many fears that were built within that I had to let go. Like, if I let go of them, is God going to give them cancer? If I let go of them, like I had any control.
Yeah, right.
If I let go of them, what's God going to do? When it was just, it was a weird time for me. Just surrendering my children and their lives to God, whatever it be.
Mm-hmm.
And you all turned out healthy and great. Nobody kidnapped you. But survived.
Well, you don't have that same scenario of like worrying about a neighborhood killer, but like you let them ride their bikes around the corner and you're like, kids are not smart and they cross the road without looking and they come plowing out of driveways. And are you going to get hit by a car? You just don't know. So many things in their life is out of our control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you say guardian angel.
Yeah. That's why you bless them before they walk out the door.
That's why you bless them before they
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that for us.
Oh, and that was thanks to a newspaper article.
And I do that for all the kids.
Yeah. When we lived in our first move to Crystal Lake, we hadn't lived there very long. And there was a newspaper article about two young men who were supposed to fly from Mexico City to the United States. And they were running. They were in a hurry to get out the door, and their mother had said, no, I need to bless you. And she gave them each a blessing, okay, before their flight, and then, for a safe flight and safe return. And they get on the road, and there's a traffic jam. And they missed their flight. And that flight went down, and everybody on it died.
You didn't even know that that's how it started.
Yeah. So it hit me hard that those young men believe it was their mom's blessing that made them get in a traffic jam and not make that
kept them from flying.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yep. So from that moment on, I blessed you guys every time you left. Before you left, every morning, anytime you had a date, and you know that.
Yeah.
And when you hear Katie's stories, it is that blessing that saved her so many times.
Yeah, Katie had like 19 lives.
Yeah, right. I firmly believe that, that may the Lord bless you and keep you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good.
Yep. So anyway.
All right, last question for this section. What truth from scripture or your faith helps you quiet the fears about your kids' future, if you happen to have one?
I have written their name in the palm of my hand.
In Jeremiah, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. Totally came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to the mundane and overwhelm, or when it all feels like too much. How do you stay grounded in the daily monotony without losing yourself or feeling like you've disappeared into the role of mom? What helps you reclaim your identity? Or do you ever feel most like your true self while being a mom?
I know a lot of women resonate with that feeling. So I definitely feel sorry that it is a struggle for some women, but I think it's just been a gift that I've received. I don't struggle with this feeling. I don't feel like I lose myself in motherhood. I feel like, this is exactly what God called me to. I am a mother. I am a mother to these kids. This was my calling from the beginning. So I think what maybe people might feel is like they lose the things that bring like joy to them, bring life to themselves. I'm saying that a little weird, but like things that they love to do. I think you can try to do those things in motherhood. I don't know. Like if it's dance, I don't know, a ballerina farm, everybody knows her. I don't actually follow anything she does, but she'll still dance. And while her kids are around, things like that. I think it's possible. And if it's a struggle, it's just something you have to ask Jesus for help with.
It's good. I have always also resonated with being a mom. It fills my cup in one sense, that's what I was meant to do. I just wanted to be a mom. And the only thing that rescues me when I'm feeling like, "Ugh, all I am is a mom," is like a date night or going out with friends and have, whether it's coffee or dinner out, and just feeling like I am still me apart from my children, and I still have purpose apart from my children, but being a mom is fulfilling still.
Mhm.
So it's just making sure you fill your cup with the things that, bring you joy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. I have felt joy in motherhood. I've tried working at jobs, part-time in times of financial stress, and it would be always a challenge to work and be a mom. And I always preferred being a mom. I'm grateful. I'd tell Ron that I'm glad you're the provider, that I don't have to get up every morning and get dressed and go to work and make money. That's not who God made me to be. You know, even in the part-time jobs, I struggled being away. I've always felt very fulfilled as being a mother. But like Natalie said, grateful for the evening out to be treated as a wife, as an adult, have adult conversation. I think as a wife and a mom, you do need those breaks to receive love and to feel important to someone other than your children. And not that that's not the greatest way to say it, but yeah. So
It's healthy
health, yeah,
to
definitely.
have adult
Yeah.
conversation.
But I know that there are women who feel fulfilled in an outside job, but and are a mother, wanted to be a mother, but they feel more fulfilled in their job. Well, then you'll definitely have to take that to prayer, because our vocation as wife and mother is first and foremost over a job.
Right.
For
Right.
You need to
you can
create
be
that order in your life.
Yeah.
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 Right. Even for a man, his vocation as a father is first and foremost over a job, because we are to rear our children in the ways of the Lord and be there and to raise healthy children.
Yeah, so if it's causing disorder in your life, even if you love your job, you need to take the step back to reflect on that.
Yeah.
Or like
Right.
if your life is feeling chaotic, even if you love it, like where's the order? What do you
Yeah.
prioritize?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Order
And
God.
what are you working for? Are you
Yes.
working for the excess, or are you working for the need?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
In that exact question, what are you working for?
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
That's
true.
that's
Just
perfect.
Yep.
I'm saying it because I'm just reiterating it because it's like,
Those were the exact words I heard.
Oh.
I heard from God. I was mom of only 2 kids, Natalie and Katie.
Oh, you were working.
Yes, and I was working, and I was driving the hour drive to Los Angeles to work on the 51st floor of.
So you had to pay
Look,
daycare for just an hour of drive time
I know.
to and from.
Right, and then
Ugh.
and then leave you 2 crying because you couldn't be in the same room together. You were in this, and you had a fence between you. You could see each other at playtime, and you're both crying because you can't be together. You know, I know, right? And I can, if I was in Pasadena, I could picture the perfect. I'm on the freeway and going around the curve, and I hear the voice loud and clear. What are you working for? And I knew it was God. And the rest of my drive, that's all I thought about. What am I working for? Why am I working? What am I working for? And it was to buy new things so we could have a new couch, so we could have the latest thing of a VCR, you know? And we had this list of things we wanted in our living room. And so all the way to work, I thought that was the thought. What are you working for? What are you working for? So that evening, I talked to Ron about it. And then the next morning, I gave my notice, 2-week notice, that I was no longer going to work. Nope. And I stayed home ever since. and I was happy. But we didn't need any of that. It was just wants. Yeah, just wants to fit into the world,
There's that
Yeah.
quote, that you can be replaced at work.
Yes.
Yeah, if you leave, someone else is coming in for that position, but nobody can replace you.
Yeah.
That's a really good
So-
one.
So, yeah, can remember the voice so much. I was wearing pink pants and a white shirt with little flowers on it.
It's a memorable day.
It was
Yeah.
memorable. Yep. Because,
Very convicting.
yes, very convicting. Yep. And it was a deep voice. And not out loud, just in your inside there. That.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I don't even know that I was praying on the way. It was just.
The Lord slapped you upside the head and said,
Yes.
Cindy, what are you doing?
Yes,
You are
exactly.
not
That was
listening.
probably the beginning of my conversion. Ooh, I better talk to God more.
He just spoke to me out of nowhere.
No. It was a day I definitely went to Sunday Mass, but wasn't that prayerful person.
That's beautiful though, because he even challenged you in that, even with all the financial hardship you faced in life.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't go back unless you absolutely had to.
Mm-hmm.
But then
And it would
you were
be
working for
short.
the need, and it was
Mhm.
always very short.
Yep.
And it was because I remember going to visit you when you were working at, was it JCPenney or Kohl's?
Kohl's. Mhm.
And going to visit you, but it's like such a short time.
Right.
It was such a short time in my memory, but we went to go see you. But it was like that was necessary.
You're right. It was just after moving there. It's like every move created a need because the
It put
expense.
you in a financial bind.
Mind, right.
Every move.
And it would
yeah.
only be like, okay, a couple months and now we're good. And it's not like it's easy,
Uh-huh.
but it's not necessary. So
Right.
you just immediately stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you stay present with your kids while juggling the endless to-dos?
This is what I would say. Having lots of time dedicated to certain tasks, and even one of them being time with kids. That helps me mentally because I am a mom who doesn't really want to stop what she's doing to do what my kids want to do. So I take that route. Also, even that can be hard sometimes during certain weeks. So I do tell the kids Sundays is mommy's yes day. So during the week,
That's dangerous when they get older.
oh, well, I don't say yes to just anything under the sun. But like if they really want me to play a certain game, it's sometimes super hard to get to that during the week. So I'll be like, all right, ask me on Sunday, And mommy, I just make sure that's definitely a time I say yes to things I wouldn't normally. And that is
That's
helpful.
neat. That's cool.
That's beautiful.
That is neat.
Yeah, that's
It's like,
a good
okay,
idea.
definitely you could put the chore aside.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday,
Yeah.
and you can
Yeah.
have that leisure playtime for your
Yes.
kids' sake.
Yes.
That's really smart.
Go
It is.
you. I'm going to do that. I am not good at pausing. I don't have a slot of time for kid time, but I'm definitely take after mom where I'm like, oh, you want to tell me a story? Well, you have to follow me because I'm walking to the laundry.
Yeah, sure.
And you're just going to walk and talk with me.
Yeah.
But the older mine get, the more I will be like, okay, you're going to help make dinner and you can chat with me now. And you're just going to help fold towels and we're doing this together. And but at the end of the day, if I do have one that wants to chat, I will sit there or tug them in and give them time. But I'm not as into
Bedtime was
intentional.
always the time you kids at least wanted to.
Yeah, but
Sure.
I'm gonna have all the teenagers at the
Yeah, I know
same
you are. Yeah,
time.
that's different than what.
So you're
Yeah.
lucky if your number gets pulled tonight. I do also try to take one to the store,
Good
right?
job.
And
Yep.
not take multiple to the store, but just take one to the store.
Mhm.
I don't know.
figure
I
out
need
your
to
ways.
No, but honestly, I need
That's
to do
good.
better in this.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
For older kids is different too. So,
Well, they're the ones I worry about.
but including them is a great option as well.
Yeah.
Kids like to help too from time to
Share a moment when the weight of it all felt like too much and what brought you back.
I would just say I joke with my husband that I have a meltdown once a year, at least like a major meltdown, like where I'm crying on the floor and just like, I can't do this. Anyways, I would say once a year is a safe bet. And once Rachel has shown up at my door the next morning, so that helps. You literally just did that in the fall. It was crazy.
I think you did that twice, didn't you?
Yeah, she's done it twice. But
One
not
was the
next
same day.
Yeah, okay. Was it the same day?
Yeah, you called me and Natalie was part of it and booked my flight for me and picked me up.
You.
Yeah.
Like insane sister craziness.
Fine, I got a ticket that day. Apparently, I ran a light in all the hype.
Oh, yeah.
But that is just insane to me. And it was like, that's the kind of stuff that, I don't know, you don't forget. But besides that, like when I am having a crazy meltdown, you just have to let it out, first of all.
Honestly,
Get it out.
My same answer is crying.
Yeah. I cry.
Right,
You just
yes,
wail
right,
and just have a really bad moment. But there's some kind of release that happens. I'm sure there's some science behind that. And
That's
then
why we both wrote crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the end,
you
like
feel better.
Chris can really help me, like practically, they just pick up the pieces. But generally, like a good journal session, I really like journaling. Rachel's metanoia journal is awesome. And sometimes just getting it all out and talking to Jesus. Sometimes we just struggle to be intentional, I think, with prayer, and that stuff like that can really help talk it out and talk about this one thing or whatever it is.
Rationalize through
Yeah,
it, have
get
a
it.
plan, and get over it.
Renew your mind.
Mhm.
Or if it's overwhelmed with tasks, literally just dumping it all out on paper is also very helpful to me. And then realizing me sitting around and overwhelmed, not getting anything done isn't helpful, but it's just one thing at a time and then start tackling it. But that doesn't happen until after you have a good cry.
Exactly. Seriously, I wrote crying.
Yeah.
That's good.
Same thing. Just gotta cry it out. Let somebody hear you. Maybe they're gonna talk you off the ledge and give you a game plan,
Yep.
build you up, and you can do it all over again.
Yeah, it's good.
The song says, just talking to Jesus.
But sometimes it's crying.
Yeah, okay, yes. Crying. Yes. Crying
Sobbing to Jesus, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing some Christian music can help too.
Yeah.
Probably some moments you're just crying and not even saying anything at all. You're just like,
Oh, I'm cutting an onion, guys. I promise.
It's an onion.
the onion.
I had to. It was amazing.
Awesome. All right. We're going to move into our wrote in questions, and then we have a couple closing questions. So I titled this one The No Nazi.
I used to be one.
Well, I thought of No Nazi because of you.
Oh.
That's why I titled it that. But the question is, have you ever caught yourself becoming the, quote, no Nazi? Constantly saying no just to keep order or control. How can I not feel this way? Or how do you balance discipline with freedom and fun?
This one's hard because when I was a no-Nazi, it was in my kids' younger years where it felt chaotic to leave. Like it required bringing a sister so that I had extra eyes, or everything was just harder to do with all the littles, and I only have two hands.
Right. That would be hard, Natalie. 'Cause
Yeah, that
you're
was
packing
different.
them all up and
Yeah.
making sure you had eyes on all of them. Yeah.
Honestly, why most of the time I was like, Tim, tagging out when you get home, going to the grocery store all by myself. No kids in town.
I would sometimes
There's
do
no
that.
room for groceries.
And then Ron would say, did you have fun?
No, it's still a chore, but I was grateful to do it alone.
Yes.
But honestly, no, that's when I was the most no-Nazi like, because it was so much work to try and coordinate anything. And then the older they got, it became easier. Like right now feels easy to say yes. And so now it's no longer a balance of logistics of what feels taxing to say yes to things so much as, do your actions merit my yes? Like, yes, I want to let you go do X, Y, and Z with your friends, but you have to get X, Y, and Z done at home.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
And you have to prove that you're trustworthy. So if you come back on time, then next time I'm more inclined to say yes. And now, it's easier. They have rides. It's not all on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely had a phase of being a no-Nazi when it was all on me, like chauffeuring them to and from whatever play date they wanted to happen,
So what would your advice be to the mom who's feeling like she's in this phase and is like, how do I try not be this no Nazi? Because if the circumstance is like, I kind of have to say no to these things because just logistically it doesn't work, then what do you do to balance not feeling that way?
I think is say yes to the easy, right?
Mhm.
Like, help me do this and you can have a small dessert tonight. Help me, you're kind and you're sweet to your sibling. I'm going to reward you with this, whatever doesn't feel taxing for your phase in life.
Mhm. Doing the thing that's fun at home.
Yes. Like, I hate Play-Doh and slime and paint, all the things that are messy. But if you say yes to those on occasion, or that is like your primo reward with your child, then that is exciting.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with, saying no a bunch in a season if it's necessary.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know yourself, like, why am I saying no right now? Is it because I need order in this house? Am I saying no because I'm overtired? Am I saying no because this kid's being too naughty? I mean, there's so many reasons you might be in a phase of no.
Yes.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I think, yeah, you were making that point. And that's what I would have said is, you can say yes, but too,
Mhm.
Yes, but only if you're going to do this first. That can help you say yes.
Yeah.
And then it's just knowing what you would want them to do or,
Yeah.
Or in that state of life is if you're feeling like life is taxing to get out the door with your children, is doing a pre-plan with your husband of, okay, I want to say yes to the kids, but can we do this together and do a pre-plan of a yes that we'll go to the park, or yes, we will go on Saturday with daddy, or yes, and so that you can, but pre-plan it so your spouse is involved in it or a grandparent, so you have the extra help. But have it in the future saying, okay, yes, mom, we'll try to find a way we can do this and do some pre-planning
That's good.
so that the answer isn't always no.
Mhm.
If you're feeling like you're a no Nazi.
It's good.
I think that's such a good idea to plan with your husband. Even if you
Yeah.
don't know what the yes that you're going to say yes to is, but I know I want to say yes to the kids this week for something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I need you to be on the same page. Like, we're going to say yes on Thursday if they want to do something fun.
Yeah, right.
We're going to go get the ice cream. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's
Right.
great.
I need you to be available so I could take him or her to their play date today.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's a good plan.
that's good. All right. The next question deals with love languages and temperaments.
It's not my wheel.
Well, so I was just going to preface this with that. I know that you might not be an expert in this area of knowing all the love languages or temperaments even. But the question is, how has understanding your kids' love languages or temperaments changed the way you parent them? What have you learned about why parenting each child the same way doesn't work? So even if you're not an expert in this realm, I think naturally not reading on these, you probably learned in your 17 years of parenting, Natalie, just like knowing how different each child is and realizing like that Owen needs a hug,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah. How has that helped you parent or change the way you parent?
I think both of your stories already were that your one kid needed a hug.
Yeah. And they vocalize it. It's helpful when they vocalize kind of what they
Boys don't vocalize it.
Yeah. It's helpful when they do. But I don't know. I don't think too much about the love languages, but I guess it's just kind of helpful to have a general like kind of check-in. I think Chris and I have done this a few times, not that intentional or regular, but where we're like, how you doing with this kid or this kid or this kid? And you just think about, how are you doing loving them, talking to them, all those things, taking inventory kind of how those needs may or may not be being met.
So you guys are good at talking and especially if you both are struggling with the same one, making sure you're going out of your way to take that one to the grocery store or I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever errand you're running to like, we need to make sure we're giving to this specific one right now in this season where we're both like they're difficult.
Yeah, you guys are very good.
They
at
are.
being
They're very
intentional.
good at that.
Just as you guys are amazing at being intentional.
Yeah, they're very intentional.
Try, but it's also like being aware that someone's probably flying under the radar. And that's humbling. But in a big family, it will happen, you know? And it's not always the same kid, but every once in a while, like Chris and I had a moment in the last year where one was flying under the radar and it was the same one for him. And we're like, oh no, okay, recalibrate. We're going to pour into this kid. Make sure that and it's super helpful. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really good. Managing life versus letting go. Do you feel like you actually have managed life as your family has grown? Or did you just learn to let go and embrace the chaos?
So I struggle with the word chaos. I feel sensitive to the word because I'm having a large family and I don't want to be chaos. I don't want everyone to see chaos when they see the Plants family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even when Chris will sometimes be like, tell like a stranger, oh, you know, it's chaos. I'm like, you know, our life isn't just chaos. But anyways, I just feel like chaos means we're not trying.
We're like unruly.
Yes, like we're unintentional. We're just like, blah, 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 you know, but that's why I just feel sensitive to that word. But it would be ridiculous for me to say that we don't have plenty of moments of that. But as a whole, you know,
Yeah.
it's a
We use the
question.
word busyness of life. That fit
Yeah,
it.
just, I mean, it is crazy having, you know, a bunch of
The
littles.
juggling, like embracing the juggling of
It's a
6
lot of-
children.
A lot of
and-
needs.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
demands, some moments where everyone loses their mind at the same time. But yeah, I just think you have to think things through. I think most people aren't just chaotic. You think what's
No, my
important
house
to your
is
family. What's
It's
in
chaos.
Yeah, what are your goals as a family? What do you want your faith like to look like? What do you want this to look like? I don't know, what does your family love? Sports or music and different things, and I don't know.
So it's kind of both because, I mean, going back to the very beginning when you were talking about it's a stretching, you know, you grow in patience with each one and God gives you the grace. It's also probably, well, it's the exact concept of the oldest child being like, the youngest got away with so much.
Right.
They get away with murder. And it's like, well,
Exactly happening in our house.
but at the same time, you change as a parent because you're like,
Yeah.
not every hill is worth dying on.
Yeah.
And that's the fact.
Yeah.
And so it is a level of letting go.
Yeah, there is a level of letting go. There's also a different level of being new parents and your finances that plays into life at home. There's so many because when you're young parents and you're striving to save money and get a house or you're working hard, and so that brings a different realm of feeling in the home, and then you grow as a family in number. So it's a constant change where you learn to let go of some things because that's not so important anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Totally.
and that's exactly what I'm feeling. It's like a constant change, which is why
Mhm.
my word was also why my word was navigating,
Mhm.
because it's not the same all the time.
mhm.
Like it still has the chaos feel on occasion of when they were toddlers, but then is also smoothing itself out with having bigger kids. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Right, in that chaos, okay, I'm projecting into your life because the day that it might feel like chaos where is the day that one has this sport to go to and the next one you need to get to that sport and the next one needs to get picked up from that sport. And so it's navigating just the daily of all
Like
these
daily
bodies.
grind.
Right.
Yes. But also them all talking at the same time because they all need attention in their
Yeah.
short window of time.
Yeah.
And my brain is just like blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
So, but it's true. So it feels like a chaotic time.
It is, but it's not really chaos. It's just busy.
And divided. Busy
Yeah.
and divided for sure.
So it's a little bit of both. You've learned to manage, but you've also learned to let go. I feel like the letting go helps the managing, though,
Mhm.
because then you're prioritizing. It's order, right? What's the order of your family life? What do you guys, as a couple, care about first and foremost, and then go from there?
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm thinking of, well, if they know truth and right from wrong, more quote unquote chaos can happen.
Yeah.
The last question of the written in questions is about miscarriage. And since you've all had a miscarriage here, maybe you have some good advice. What would you say to the mom who is going through one currently or who has gone through one maybe even recently and is just struggling with that question of why?
God is the best planner of your family. And even though it might be our heart's desire to have a baby right now, I mean, his timing is perfect. And in my case, it was definitely a case of surprise. Like, we were not expecting to have another baby at the time. Our baby was not even 1 yet. And we lost our baby around 12 weeks, but in that 12 weeks, God worked on my heart to love and accept and welcome another baby into our family. And I was so grateful to God that I got to get to that point of love and acceptance before losing the baby, because I think I would have beat myself up otherwise, that I wasn't excited and then lost the baby in the end. But I know lots of people have other scenarios of trying and losing, but in hindsight, God is the perfect designer when he knows the perfect time.
Yeah.
Your latest.
Yeah. I would say when I went through mine, Kyle and I kind of were trying at that point. I think it was more of like an openness to life, and we had no reason to avoid, which we were already a year into our marriage, but we were just enjoying that early season of marriage. But it was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for one. And so it was more on the side of trying than just being open to life happening. And it was definitely exciting. It was not a fearful pregnancy. It was definitely wanted. And I would say it made me want kids even more when I lost that one. And it was it felt unfair. But also I would talk to God and I was like, ultimately, this child is yours and the goal is heaven. So, I know I have one in heaven now. And I guess that's what people can also say.
Yeah, it's mysterious.
It is mysterious.
And to try to wrap your head around.
Yeah. I also know that people have gone through them when they were definitely not wanting to get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that struggle of maybe it's an odd sense of relief when they have the miscarriage, but then there's that hard sense of loss and fear of it again, even if they don't want necessarily more children. But it's also that reset of God's ultimately in control of our life and our family. And it was okay, God, now's not the time for us to have a child, even though we want one. And then it still took another whole year of trying to get pregnant with Orlin.
Mm-hmm.
God's the ultimate designer.
He is. And we've also talked about babies being like the sacrificial lamb, where had that baby been born, the subsequent baby that actually was born wouldn't be here. God knows all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And why he allows what he allows. And we don't appreciate life always until it's taken from us out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I was definitely in a position of taking conception for granted because it always just happened when even we weren't trying, and that wasn't the goal. We were like, oh, we're having another baby. And so really to then be like, oh my gosh, we're having another baby, we're actually not.
Yeah,
it definitely was different. You just have a new appreciation for life and God being ultimately in charge.
Yeah.
It
is weird. I feel like most of just compared to my siblings, most of their pregnancies were all just, they didn't have to try. It was more of oh, we're having another, or oh, we're pregnant. Where it's for me, all 3 times I've gotten pregnant, there was a trying in it. So it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just another thought that I feel like nobody really knows what to say when you have one, the right words. And you really can't wrap your head around it until you experience it yourself. That was definitely my circumstance. I was surrounded by women having miscarriages, or experiencing them. And it wasn't until I had my own that I was like, whoa, I feel differently about and how do you approach it with other women.
Right.
And I remember we were open to having a baby, and this was before Therese. So Therese was our baby that would be here if we hadn't miscarried. But I was truly like in awe too of how much we mourned the loss of a baby that I only knew was there for a month and a half. I hadn't felt kick. I can't remember. I don't think I'd seen the baby on an ultrasound or anything. And just like I was like, oh my goodness, this is so hard.
Yeah.
And I don't even know you. I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're a boy or a girl.
But that was after already having what, 4 or 5?
That was after
kids?
having 5, yeah.
After having
So
5,
after
yeah.
Kateri and that miscarriage, and like how much the family, as a family, we had mourned it too. That was also like a spiritual experience too. So yeah, it's hard. I just always say it's mysterious. That's how it felt. It's such a mysterious experience, and it's hard to wrap your mind around what, you don't know God's provision, what exactly he intends, but there's always something he's doing in the process. So.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, it always has a purpose.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, time for our closing questions. If you could go back and tell your first time mom self one thing, what would it be?
Might beat a dead horse with this, but develop your prayer life.
I was going to say, start your day in prayer.
Yeah.
Because I started too late.
Yeah. Learn how to pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
And life isn't perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect, the perfect mom. You don't have to live life in the eyes of perfection.
One word of encouragement for the mom listening who feels like she's failing.
It's prioritize your children. Keep parenting, even though it's hard. And tomorrow's a new day. So even when you have a bad day and you're not proud of yourself, start over again and keep trying.
And hug them all goodnight.
And hug them all.
Oh,
That's good, because those teens even want the hug.
Yeah, they do.
Looking back, how many of the things you feared quietly worked themselves out?
every single one.
Every single one.
Work themselves out along with prayer. All that praying.
It's an interesting theme of night. Prayer.
Truly, God, man, and woman. Parenting takes 3.
Father, mother, God.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
How has God surprised you in your kids, your story, or even yourself? And actually, the next one really does go with it. And so the last question is, what has surprised you most about your own capacity as a mom?
I would say how fun it can be to be intentional in family life. I think it's like fun. I think if someone business-minded, you can treat it like, you can just have fun with it and treat it like that, How do you want to run your home? I think it's fun. So that's been a surprise to me. The surprise of my own weakness. Oh, I didn't know I had anger problems. Until becoming a mom, I thought I was a happy-go-lucky person, but wow. And just the beautiful design of family, how God works between husband and wife. You chisel at each other and make each other better, and how he uses your strengths and weaknesses together, and how your kids bring out certain parts of you. It's just
So true.
It's pretty amazing, the family life. So not everyone can have large families and stuff like that, but there was a man who spoke at our school in a high school in LA. They give talks to parents, and something he said about large families was, you're never going to be able to give your kids all the virtues. Like, you're not going to be able to, you're lacking in virtue. If you don't have the virtue of this, it's hard, you can't pass that on. But if you have a large family, they'll get it from each other. One kid's going to have a virtue that you don't have, and this one's going to have a virtue you don't have. And I just thought that was really beautiful. Yeah. The dynamic.
Yes, so beautiful.
Yeah.
because it's impossible to pass a whole thing on to your children.
Yeah.
And that is a wrap. Thank you, Mom, Becca, and Natalie for joining us tonight on Motherhood.
Yep.
It was a pleasure to have you all. This is great. This is the stuff that people need to hear, to know they're not in it alone.
Can I shout out Elena? If you listen to this whole thing, I love you. She was so excited for me to be on the podcast.
That's awesome. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on. It was so fun to have all three of you on. Yeah.
I love all the insight from all of you.
Yeah. It's going to be one I'll go back to the day I become a mom. What am I?
You're not in trenches
way
yet.
down.
Yeah, you're not in the trenches yet. When you get to the teenagers, it's really unclear how it's going to go.
I can't imagine. No, bigger kids. That was something I thought.
Bigger kids,
bigger problems.
Mhm.
Well, and I think it's just motherhood is hard because you don't get to see your result till they're like, maybe 27. Mom's still waiting.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening tonight. If you've been enjoying Wannabe Saints, we'd love your support. You can help us keep the podcast going by joining us on Patreon, where you'll get access to extra content and bonus material like our newsletter or handmade rosaries or merch. Be sure to follow us on Instagram or Facebook to stay connected and see what's coming up. And if this episode spoke to you, please take a moment to rate, review, and share it with a friend. It's one of the best ways to help others find the show. Thanks for being a part of this journey with us.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Wannabe Saints.
Say bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Wannabe Saints podcast.
If you have a question or topic you would like us to cover, reach out to us at wannabesaintspodcast@gmail.com or on Instagram at wannabe_saints.
You can find the link in our show notes.
Thanks for listening, and God bless.